Hello and welcome to the Walk in Love podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to talk about why caring about your health and fitness matters.
I don't know what about your intro sounded weird, but it was definitely weird.
Yeah, it did sound weird. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. The Walk in Love podcast is a weekly conversation between Brooke and I as we talk about marriage, emotions, rhythms, faith, parenting. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find language to live a joy-filled life. And if you are looking for a joy-filled life, you're in the right place. Hopefully. Welcome. You've got mail.
Oh.
Some of you won't understand that, and some of you will just have extreme nostalgia.
Yeah. I could still hear her voice in my head.
Yeah.
And then You've Got Mail. Also a great movie.
Never seen it.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
That is a lie from the pit of hell.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen...
I've never seen You've Got Mail from beginning to end. I've seen maybe clips of it.
Oh. The roles are usually reversed here.
Yeah.
You've seen pretty much all movies, hence my
It's a romantic comedy. It's not my or it's like a romantic drama.
No, it's a comedy. Yeah. I would say it falls into romantic comedy. I don't know if I'm like LOLing the whole time. But
what romantic comedies are you LOLing at the whole time? This is our Mount Rushmore on the spot.
Rom-coms that I'm laughing at the whole time.
Mount Rushmore of rom-coms.
Mount Rushmore of rom-coms.
Mount
Rushmore of rom-coms.
That
is a little hard to say.
That you're laughing at.
Pretty much the whole time.
Proposal.
The Proposal.
Strong start.
Obviously. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Awesome.
Is Sweet Home Alabama funny?
I don't know, but you're missing one of your favorites.
Well, Date Night.
Yeah.
I guess it's romantic. They're already together. They're married.
Yeah.
Which is romantic, I'm aware, but like it does
it's not
feel
like
different.
They're not
falling in love
leading
via
to
humor.
Romance, yeah.
Correct. So which is why it wasn't at the top of my list.
Okay.
But I'll put it on there. But see, this is where I feel like panicked because then it's not really a Mount Rushmore. It's just
you're just listing. Yeah,
I'm just listing.
This is an unofficial Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
This is many mountains. This is many mountains of.
Does Easy A count as a rom-com?
I think so. That leads
She
to.
likes
There's a
the
love
mascot.
story in there. Hitch.
Oh, Hitch is pretty good. I haven't seen that in a long time, but
Hitch
I have
has
seen
a different vibe now since Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face.
Yeah.
We were watching Spies in Disguise, where he's the main voice, and you're just like, I'm watching it. I'm like, it just feels different.
It does. Everything shifted after that.
Not a good career move. We've talked about that quite a few times.
I think we have, which is funny because we're not like massive Will Smith fans at all.
I mean,
or were we?
In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and on shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air."
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I only know that because of you singing it, because that is something I have never seen.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
Never seen it.
Oh, man, we used to watch it all the time. Because we had, you grew up in a life of luxury with as many, as many cable channels. You had Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, Channel 27.
We didn't have it. Mm-hmm. So we just had whatever was on like normal, regular TV.
Yeah.
And that was one of them.
Yeah. The Disney Channel was Channel 51.
I didn't
like
have the Disney Channel either. So
but it was like pre-programmed to skip certain channels. We've talked about this. Where like our remote, like if we were going 27, 28, 29, 30, it would skip VH1. It would skip MTV. Yeah. It would skip ones. But if you typed them in, if you typed them in, it still worked. So all you had to do was type in 31 and realize what was being skipped. So very aware of Channel 31.
Okay, wow. I have a funny story to tell.
Okay.
We'll get to our sponsor and everything. We'll do a podcast, but a few weeks ago, the Ghost Runners podcast with Brad and Jake. Brad Ellis from Ellis Custom Creations.
Yeah.
Jake Triplet from Mr. and Mrs. Triplet.
Right.
They
coming soon.
Posted the story. No, he's already here. He's 20-something years old.
No, but they're not married yet.
No, I'm saying he's from his parents.
Oh. I thought you meant
Brad Ellis from Ellis Custom Creations.
Got it.
Jake Triplet from Mr. and Mrs.
original.
Triplet. Yeah, the original Triplets.
Sorry.
He's not a triplet. That's his last name.
Right.
So they
That'd be crazy though.
That would
if
be
the triplets
crazy.
had triplets.
Have you met the triplets?
Trip,
dip, and dunk.
Dip and dunk. That's like Dunkaroos, right?
Oh,
Were you allowed to eat Dunkaroos?
I longed for Dunkaroos. Well, again,
Deep within your bones.
you lived a life of luxury where
Oh
you
my word, we did not.
you
but
got to
I
watch
appreciate
Nickelodeon, got to watch the Disney Channel,
Got to type in MTV.
Channel 31, go to it. That wasn't even an option.
Right.
We didn't get above Channel 9 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Dunkaroos were like a dream.
Yeah.
That's a dream. That's a dream beyond a dream. Occasionally we would get them, and it was life was
Altering.
complete.
Yeah.
We thought peaches were a delicacy.
They are a delicacy.
Basking in probably
Although,
a bowl
here's the thing,
of
though.
Dunkaroos.
No, you guys eating peaches as a delicacy is probably a way better option.
Probably, yeah.
For your speaking of today's topic. Anyway, back to the triplets having triplets.
Trip, dip, and dunk. They don't exist. It's just Jake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think he has siblings, though.
I mean, that would be great. Jake's great, but that would be great if there were 3 of them.
That would be. There were triplets in my high school. Well, I guess they were in all my schools because they were, bam, they just showed up in high school. No. I mean, I think I met them in kindergarten. All I remember about them, I have 2 things I remember about them. They were very kind. One, I've remembered, I actually think I've said this before too. Remember this story of the mom telling us that one time when they were like babies, probably not walking yet, they all got the stomach bug at the same time. And she just laid out blankets on the living room floor and laid all 3 of them down and just let them Ralph everywhere because she couldn't keep up with the 3. I remember that. And then I remember that all they used to draw. They were excellent like artists and drawers. Drawers?
Triplets. Good drawers.
Was, bear with me, he was like a worm.
Oh, Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. Nice. And I just remember like glancing over at their notebooks and whatever. I'm talking 4th grade all the way through like 12th grade, I feel like.
Oh, nice. Earthworm Jim is an interesting... They don't make video games like that anymore.
Is that what it is?
Here's
it's
the
a video
premise. Game. Earthworm Jim is a space explorer.
That makes sense.
He's an earthworm. So he's got a suit with arms and legs, but his worm head sticks out of his spacesuit.
Okay.
And to jump over crevasses, he would grab his head and use his whole body as a whip.
Oh.
And whip himself across crevasses.
Okay. Crevasse.
So can you imagine being in that pitch meeting where someone's like, all right, folks, video games are exploding.
Yeah.
People are buying any ones that we got. We'll get them in Blockbuster.
Yeah.
They're
going to be there forever.
They're going to be there forever. Blockbuster is never going out of business. So any video game we can put in Blockbuster is a gold mine. Just back up the money truck. Beep, beep, beep.
I said that the other day to someone, realizing they had no idea what it was from, that it's from us. And I was like, oh, never mind.
So it's this, you ever seen an earthworm?
Yes.
Or no, this is the guy. The guy walks in, he's like...
You know what kids love?
No, he forgot he had a pitch that day.
Oh, that makes more sense.
And he's like standing in the conference room kind of panicked.
No, he's outside on his coffee break,
no,
maybe smoking.
He sees it out the window.
Oh, okay.
It just rained. There's a few earthworms on the sidewalk. All right, Jake Triplet, what's your pitch? Yeah, video games are big right now. So what if we did one about an earthworm named...
He looks across the table.
Jim. Earthworm Jim. Okay, well, what's that game going to be like? He's a space explorer, and to get over crevasses, he has to use his body.
He just keeps talking about the actual game, but the whole time he's convinced.
He's just like, I'm done. This is my last day here.
He's just...
I'm going to get fired immediately.
And then, well, I know it's a worm, but he does have arms and legs.
Yeah, that's just part of his suit, and he's got a laser gun. I'm pretty confident that Triplets will love drawing him.
Sold. Blockbuster wants 1 jillion copies. Done.
I played that game quite a bit. I think I own that game.
That's all I remember about them.
Okay.
Other than they were nice and in a lot of my classes because there was 3 of them. Yeah. So it was like, whoa, which one are you?
You the one that draws
Eric, Adam, and Greg?
Okay. Not Trip, Dip, and Dunk.
No. Maybe they secretly called each other that, though. That'd be great.
Okay, so Ghost Runners podcast.
Yeah.
With Brad and Jake.
Okay.
they posted this thing on their story a few weeks ago that said they're now doing 2 podcasts a week. One of the podcasts is like they have some audience interaction. And so they were like, hey, if you have any funny poop stories, you should like fill out this form and we'll interview about them.
Yeah. On the podcast.
So I didn't fill out the form, but I text Brad. I said, Brad, if you're short on poop stories,
look no further.
if you got a poop shortage, just let me know. I've got one. Okay. I can fill in at any time and tell this story anytime, day or night. So
what about middle of the day?
Yeah, I could do that.
Like late afternoon?
Yeah, sure.
What about really early in the morning?
A real possibility.
Okay.
Not a presentation in the morning like you, but
yeah, I
could tell the story. So he texted me a few weeks later and was like, hey, do you want to tell the story on Monday? I was like, sure. And so I tell the story. And if you don't know it, it's
early.
Yeah, it's early on in the podcast. Should I tell it again?
No, we've told it a couple times.
Anyways,
it's really good.
It ends with me.
TJ almost poops his pants in Vegas.
Leaning against the slot machine.
Clenching it up.
Butt clenching. Everything in me, realizing that God is real and he has a plan for me after all. And then making it the last 20.
Which is the P.F. Chang's bathroom.
And then he ended up making it the last 20 feet. So I forget where I'm going.
I don't know why
I don't know how to tell
the
the story.
I have no idea because we were talking about something else.
We were talking about skipping channels.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And I called it an early vid angel. So so we're talking about this. And Brad mentions the Wolf of Wall Street. And he says, it's like that scene in the Wolf of Wall Street where like they take their drugs and they're like slowly trying, like they feel that they can't really, like they're trying to get somewhere, but they're all drugged out. And And so I make the joke, I'm a Christian. I've never seen the Wolf of Wall Street. And I said, no, actually I saw it on vid angel. It's only 12 minutes.
I don't think I ever saw that full movie.
I did not see it.
Or maybe I didn't see any of it. Maybe I've just seen like a pitch meeting or something else for it because I'm aware that it is like some of the most insane language of all time, right?
Yeah, I think it breaks.
Just like in its consistency.
I think it breaks the record for most F words used in a single movie.
Right. So
on vid angel, it's only 12 minutes long.
It's great. Watch it right before you go to bed.
Like, I don't really get it. I don't understand what happened.
Yeah. That would be crazy though, to actually see that movie with it all cut out. And how much of the would they just be speaking in complete sentences then? Because you would be taking out the word so frequently that it would actually sound normal.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
Wow. We'll never know.
That was
Maybe we could ask ChatGPT.
That was a long way to the well for that story.
Okay.
Today's sponsor.
Okay.
You ready for it? I asked ChatGPT. Ask Chatty. Write me a podcast ad for a one-day marriage event called The Best Is Yet to Come on July 9th in Lancaster, PA with Brooke and T.J. Muh-see-tis of the Walk in the Podcast, Dr. Josh and Christy Straub of Famous at Home, and Jeremy Pryor of Family Teams.
Gasp.
Focused on the idea that your best days of marriage aren't behind you.
Okay.
But yet to
Well,
come.
there's the ad right there. That's pretty great.
That's
what
pretty
you
good.
wrote. Okay.
Okay, ready?
That's really just information.
Yeah.
But okay. Is
ready?
it really long?
It's kind of long.
Okay. Wow. That's really long.
Okay. Upbeat music playing in the background.
Oh, it says that?
Yeah.
Or so we're supposed to insert it.
Hey, podcast listeners, are you ready to breathe new life into your marriage? Are you looking for ways to keep the love and excitement growing? Look no further. We've got the perfect event for you. The Best Is Yet to Come one-day marriage event.
Wow.
Mark, not in that,
Okay,
not in
sorry,
the ad,
sorry.
but I like it.
Okay.
I like that energy. Mark your calendars for July 9th in beautiful Lancaster, PA, because you're not going to want to miss this transformative experience. Join the dynamic couples of Brooke and T.J. Muh-see-tis of the Walk in the Podcast, Dr. Josh and Christy Straub of Famous at Home, and Jeremy Pryor of Family Teams as they share their wisdom, insight, and practical tips for strengthening your marriage. This powerful one-day event is based on the idea that the best days of your marriage aren't behind you, but yet to come. You'll learn secrets of communication, conflict resolution, and maintaining intimacy as you build a lasting relationship with your spouse. Here's a taste of what you can expect.
Oh, wow.
So,
Chatty already knows what we're going to talk about?
Brooke and TJ dive into the importance of laughter and joy and the power of daily connection in your marriage.
Whoa. Okay.
Spooky. Dr. Josh and Christy Straub explore the keys to emotional safety and building a relationship.
Did it Google us?
I think so.
No.
And building a resilient relationship
No.
that can withstand life's storms.
If it
Jeremy
knows what
Pryor.
Jeremy's going to talk about.
Uncover the essential steps to becoming a united family team and raising children with intention and purpose. Okay,
Stop
maybe
it.
we are in trouble. Maybe Chatty's
here.
coming for us.
He built the boat and he is on Maui.
Plus, there will be engaging workshops, not true, interactive Q&A sessions, true, and plenty of opportunity to connect with like-minded couples looking to elevate their marriages, also true. So what are you waiting for? Get ready to embrace the idea that the best is yet to come and unlock the full potential of your marriage. Don't wait. Tickets are limited and they're going fast. We hope. Head over to our website.
Did it make one for us?
Yeah. Head over to event website now to secure your spot and start the journey towards a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. Upbeat music fades out. Oh, remember, the best days of your marriage are still ahead.
Wow.
Join us on July 9th in Lancaster, Pierre, and let's make your marriage the best it can be. See you there.
See you there.
Sounds like a good event.
It does sound.
And that is the event.
That is the event. Sans workshops. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, no workshops, but best is yet to come. Josh, Dr. Josh, who we've talked about many times on the podcast, will be there, and Jeremy Gandalf Pryor will be there. And I'm stoked.
We've been waiting to announce complete details because we've been waiting to know if Gandalf is coming or not.
So July 9th.
He is coming.
Tickets are in the show notes. It'll be basically from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So we're telling you to get your child. We told you to get your child care last week, so you're all set there.
So
you can just go and buy tickets. We have early bird tickets available now. The price you'll see when you click the link is a ticket for you and your spouse. We're selling them as two.
A duo bundle.
Yeah. So
two pack.
Sounds. I'm honestly super stoked. So, we've never done anything like this.
Right.
But
we've wanted to.
We've wanted to, and so we're just I'm just so excited. Josh and Christy have just been such a huge blessing to our marriages, and honestly, thousands of marriages. They do coaching, they do counseling. They have their own podcast, and then if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you know what an impact Jeremy Pryor has made on our lives.
Yeah.
And so for him to be there, it's just such a cool thing for one, we'll be there. So if you listen to us and you enjoy us, me and you.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
That'll be fun. It's like a butt clenchers unite moment.
Yes.
So you get to meet other butt clenchers, other podcast people. It'll be interesting though to see if you I look forward to the stories of someone sitting down and be like, hey, you a butt clencher? And they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
They just scoot over a seat without saying anything. I don't know what I would say if somebody asked me that. I'd probably laugh.
Because we got a message.
And I'd be like, I'm sorry. Say that again?
What did you just call me?
I'd say, are you? That's probably what I'd say.
We got a message one time. Someone saw someone wearing a walk-in love shirt and they're like, oh, hey, butt clencher, I love your shirt. And the person was just like, what?
They got it at a garage sale because it said choose joy.
It was like a gift from a grandma. I'm never wearing this thing again.
A local woman arrested at Target for accusing
fellow mom
of clenching her butt.
Anyways, we're super stoked. We're going to announce it to everyone at some point this week. So if you are a podcast listener, you get first dibs.
Yeah.
And still don't have the exact timeline of when we're going to do the early bird and when that's going to stop. But if you buy this week.
But today, right now, when you're listening to this, if
you're
it's
good to
current
go.
time, you're
good to go. So yeah, we're super, super excited. Anything you want to add to it?
No, not right now.
I already have my first talk and I kind of gave it to Brooke the other day.
Interesting.
Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Nice.
In full transparency, I have no memory of what it's about.
Remember, I was like, oh, let me go get something.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. Okay. I was there. I was there for that.
How was your week, Brooke?
My week was great. My week was spent sitting at my computer a lot. I taught Home Joy this week every day for an hour a day.
I like it.
I also liked it. I also hope everybody else liked it.
You did a really good job. The little bit I jumped in and tuned in because I was, obviously watching the girls downstairs.
Yeah.
At one point I was watching and I had my headphone in, and apparently on Zoom, if you just start talking, your headphone unmutes you. And so Brooke was like, hey, TJ, you need to stop talking.
I said, hey, T, mute yourself. And TJ, mute yourself.
And as far as I could see, I was muted.
Yeah.
So I panicked and just quit out of Zoom. So I didn't watch the rest of that day because I was too nervous.
Yeah.
But you did an amazing job. Very proud of you.
So that's literally all I did all week.
Yeah.
I think maybe I made some dinners, rode a lot of bike loops around the neighborhood.
Sunny is into the loop right now. And we had guests arrive. So Mark Kark is here with his 2 roommates, Ben and Andrew. We've given Ben 4.5 stars. We've given Andrew 4. Mm-hmm. It's not bad rating, but 1 is better. So sorry, Andrew. Matt we told them, you guys are on your own for food.
Yeah.
Use our outside
Come stay,
fridge.
bring friends. But I'm not hosting all week long making everybody dinners. I just can't right now.
So they went to the grocery store. Well, first they went to Costco and they wanted me to come to Costco with them, but I had a phone call with
our fulfillment center.
Yeah, I had a business phone call.
Needed to make the phone call.
So I couldn't talk. And I said I can come after. And then I was like, wait, no, Brooke has Homejoy. So I can't really, the window would be too small.
Yeah, too tight.
So I told them, why don't you just sign in on your phone into my Costco app and just go through self-checkout?
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Right.
I would go with you if I could.
Right.
Andrew sort of is the same size as me, and he has a beard. So you could just say, this photo was taken before my beard.
Yeah.
No one's going to check anyways. No. Well, I was wrong.
Yep.
They got to self-checkout with all their things, and a woman just went right towards him and said, let me see your card. And Matt was holding the phone, which was mistake 1. Mistake 1,
yeah.
And he turned it
and shows your face.
Shows my face. If you guys don't know Matt, he's Asian. We don't look anything alike.
So the person's already like, wait a second.
And at Costco, there's still quite a few employees wearing masks, and the Hawaiian accent is sometimes very challenging to understand. Yeah. And so Matt's having a hard time hearing her.
Right.
And he's like, oh, it's his. I'm just holding his phone. And she's like, why are you holding his phone?
They all panic.
I
think they abandoned Matt. They end up abandoning their cart, not getting anything. They had to go to Target.
Anyways, so they're here. We went to Target, filled up our fridge. Our fridge is a fridge that can turn into a freezer.
The garage
fridge. It's like just one door.
Yeah, it's like it's like not a mini fridge, but it's not a full size fridge.
It's like if you stack 2 mini fridges on top of each other.
Yes.
That's essentially the size.
So it can be freezer mode or fridge mode.
And it's in fridge mode. And so Matt thought, I'm just going to make it colder. And he turned it to freezer mode.
Yeah.
And froze all of our clementines, all of our yogurt, all their drinks.
He froze everything.
Because he turned it into a freezer. And so, but it's been great.
So he was tasked today with,
yes.
Hey, Matt, please take a few dish towels and go wipe out the fridge, which is now sopping wet inside because it is melted. So, and please reorganize as you go.
Yes. So we have guests right now, but honestly, this type of guest, like 3 young men.
Yeah.
Anytime no kids are involved, like it was the same when Callista and Evan came and ate their finger salads on Mount Haleakala. When no kids are involved, it's super easy to have guests because they come and go. They can use the extra car that we have.
They just kind of do their
own thing. They do their own thing. And so it's been really fun. I love it. I was telling Brooke last night that I love that our girls get to interact with adults that aren't us on a semi-regular basis because of how frequently we get guests. I feel like that's really nurturing to their young brains to learn how to talk to people and ask them questions and play games with new people and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun to see, like June today had a drawing contest with all of them. Mm-hmm. So it's just fun to see those little moments kind of peek out while, between going to the beach and doing all this stuff.
And they're still young enough. Hopefully it stays all the time, but like they're into it. They're like into having people. They're not like nervous to talk to them or anything like that, which is sweet.
So that was our week. And yesterday, so we didn't get to record on Thursday because of Homejoy. So we're recording Sunday, comes out on Monday. And yesterday was Saturday.
That's how time works.
The day before that was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday after Thursday. And I feel like we have had 3 top 10 Sabbaths recently.
Yeah.
I feel like we've really found our footing on what that day looks like right now in this season. And it's just been so refreshing and good. And I especially feel like they've been especially good because we've been really working hard during the week.
Yeah. So it feels more, like I look forward to it even more. The day feels different instead of
earned,
no,
Sabbath is a gift, but there is this element where it's more impactful.
Yeah.
And it's just been really, really good. And so yeah, I think that was kind of all we did this week.
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, my word.
I got a massage from Yulia.
The girls are a little bit sick. That's
Girls are
why
a little
I'm
bit
yawning.
sick. Yeah. I got a massage from Yulia. Which is, if anybody remembers what episode that story's in, people have asked. I don't remember the first time I went. So I get there. Oh, I didn't tell you this.
First time we went. Yeah, I don't know.
So I get there, and she's like, "Tell me about your body." And actually, my lower back has been quite sore. I think I might have tweaked it doing something. So I tell her that, and then she, has me lay on the table and to make sure that it's the right height.
Yeah.
And then she leaves the room and she says, get undressed to your level of comfort.
Right.
So I put on a pair of corduroys and a sweater.
That's
a John Mulvaney joke. So good. So she comes back in and she goes, "Open your eyes," because I'm, through the little face hole.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. It's like, I'm wearing shoes.
Oh, because I mentioned that you're... She changed, or did she have them on the whole time?
No, she had them on the whole time, and I was like, oh gosh.
Look
and
out.
I was like, yeah, you're really... And then at one point I'm laying
Well, that matters. Did we tell that part of the story?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, she's wearing...
I told her last time I went that TJ is shocked that she's as strong as she is, let alone in a pair of little, like, flimsy Old Navy flip-flops.
Yeah.
And she just thought that was so funny. Mm-hmm. Oh, my flip-flops. And
so
I was
she
like,
wore
yeah.
shoes.
So she put shoes on for you? That's so great.
And at one point, it's a deep tissue massage. And if you've
it's like body work.
Body work. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And it is so painful in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. But at one point I'm laying on my back and she's like doing something to my hip and I start laughing.
Better than drooling all over her new shoes, which is what I've done, face down.
And I am so embarrassed
that you're laughing.
That
I'm
just laughing.
The two of you in there. Yeah.
So do us and her dog Monkey.
Little monkey.
And she's as sweet as they come.
Yeah.
But she's Ukrainian. So there's like a vibe there.
Yeah.
Very much like stoic vibe.
Very much.
Oh, you're ticklish. Which makes me laugh even harder. And it's like the church giggles. Like I literally was like,
Lord, hear me shred.
I can't let this get out of control.
Yeah,
like,
no, because you won't be able to stop.
So then I stopped.
She did the other side.
It's just ticklish.
I've only ever almost laughed once. And I think she was maybe doing the back of my legs. And I think I even said.
But it's like a painful laugh.
Because I talk to her while we do it. We usually have conversations, unlike you. And I said, oh, that's really ticklish. And she said, it's because it's so tight.
Yeah.
That like there's literally something in the muscle.
Yeah.
That like when it's that tight and she's working through it.
But I told her.
Feel ticklish.
I told her my lower back's tight. She's like, oh, your back is so tight. And she goes to work, starts working my upper back. Oh, your upper back is very tight. She starts working on my arm. Oh, your forearms are so tight. She starts working on my leg.
You're like, I'm aware, Yulia. It's kind of my brand.
Your legs are so tight. You need the hot yoga. And I was like, okay.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it sounds so unfun.
I mean, I think if one of us was to enjoy it more than the other, I think I can handle it.
I do hot yoga on VidAngel, so
right.
Just to
smart.
Make sure that I'm safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what
what we've been up to.
And that leads us into
you were wondering
the topic of the day.
Okay.
Topic du jour. What's the soup of du jour?
Soup du jour?
Soup of the day. I'll have that. Sounds lovely. So we're going through the integrated notes. At one point, Chris, let me get his last name here.
I don't know his last name, so
Chris
I need no help.
Cerullo.
Spell it.
Cirullo. Runs a company called Mission Fit Dads. So if you're a dad listening and you want to get...
Is it like mission fit or like mission, fit dads? Like, is that the idea? Mission fit dads.
I think you're a dad on mission who also wants to be fit.
All three.
I think
all the ways.
I think it's all the ways.
It's like integrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a new member, but was like an ex... I'm not going to say the branch because I don't want to get it wrong. He was in the military
in some capacity.
High level.
Oh, in a lot of capacity.
Like one of the special forces, some sort of special force unit, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
And so his, what's it called when you have like his holy discontent
Yes.
is people not taking care of their physical bodies.
Mm.
And so that's what he wants to
Very
write.
cool.
Right.
How old-ish?
He has 4 boys.
Okay.
I would say he's probably my age, maybe a
Okay.
little bit older.
Okay.
And so he had this sort of 3-part presentation about why our health and fitness matters.
Okay.
First is the theological reasons. Second are the practical reasons. And then the third part is his recommended approach.
Okay.
And he sells all of this as like part of a monthly course as a dad that you can like sign up and have like accountability. A friend of ours is doing it, and
Yeah.
it looks super cool. So if you want to know more, missionfitdads.com.
Cool.
Ladies, not invited. So the 8 guys out there listening, 2 of which are dads,
Yeah.
if you want to check it out. One of which lives in Slovenia.
Right.
Okay. Theological reasons. Genesis 1:28, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. He talked about the law of first mention. So like the first time something mentioned in the Bible
Okay.
is like something that you should
Pay
take
attention
note of.
to. Yeah.
And so in the first chapters of Genesis, Adam was given work, physical in nature, and it nourished his body. Like your work and your physicality was connected to your nourishment. And one of the easiest ways to check out of nourishing and taking care of our bodies is passivity.
Yeah.
And I love this quote, this like little line that I typed out. Passivity, accepting or allowing outcomes without an active response or resistance. And we talk about this stuff all the time.
Yeah. It's kind of like intentional versus just, what's the other one? When it just happens.
Unintentional, happenstance.
I feel like that's not the word I normally use. It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, and again,
Reactive and proactive.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
offense or defense,
Yeah.
or offense or sideline.
Right.
Kind of, that's actually probably
Right.
more of a better way to say it.
Yeah.
We talk about this with raising our children. If we allow culture to raise our children, they'll turn out a certain way.
Yeah.
And passivity, just kind of being like, well, I guess we'll just send them to school and send them to college and do everything that we're supposed to do. And,
Right.
that's sort of a passive approach to raising kids.
Right.
And could it turn out well? Yeah, there's a chance for that.
Fine. Yeah. Absolutely.
But you're taking a pretty big chance with that.
Right.
And so same thing with our physical bodies or our spiritual formation or our habits. If we are passive about things, we will usually take by default the easiest route.
Yeah.
Which in the long run ends up not being the easiest route.
Right.
Anyways, so I really like that. Passivity, accepting or allowing outcomes without an active response or resistance. God's defined the body. He designed us. God's designed the body. He designed us with a body. He's resurrecting that body. Scripture seems to imply a much greater value on the body than we often place at it.
Yeah.
As we eagerly wait for adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies, for this hope we are saved. And then he got into this talk about like there's beautiful expression of limits. I'm just going to read these.
Okay.
Mental. God has given us a complex brain as a fragile and limited expression of his mind and abilities. Rhythms. God rested when he didn't have to and hardwired it into humanity. The need to rest every 7 days.
Yeah.
Movement and nourishment. God designed us to need movement to thrive and to need nourishment in order to move and to need his grace paired with our movement in order to nourish. Sleep. God designed us to sleep when he could have created 24/7 beings just like him.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Our body and how it operates is an expression of God-imposed limits that when seen with the proper perspective should drive us to worship and stewardship.
Yeah.
And so I know that people when you start talking health and fitness, people get weird.
It can. Yeah.
It just, the excuses are, it's just not as easy for me and all this kind of stuff. And I don't have the time and all this kind of stuff. And so there is no, I don't know. I don't know your life. I don't know what you're doing, but we're not going to give advice based off of all the excuses that you could come up with. And we do that with our rhythm. Like when we talk about rhythms or marriage or communication, we just push past those. And for whatever reason, and maybe this is just on me, I feel this need to sort of soften the blow when it comes to fitness because I know
I feel that big time.
that it is such an emotionally
So personal.
heavy thing that some people bear.
Yes.
And so if you hear me, and I love I love this Deion Sanders, Deion Sanders,
I don't know. Who's that?
Coach Deion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Prime.
Yeah.
He talks about how don't let my confidence highlight your insecurity. And so not that I'm super confident in my knowledge of health and fitness, but
we're not, this episode is not should shaming, right? We're not like, here's what you should do.
Yeah, no, but don't throw us out.
Right.
Because all of a sudden we've said something that ruffles your feathers because it's an area
because it's challenging
that you find challenging and that maybe I don't know what the reason may be, but whatever. So just want to get that. Christian culture has neglected the body. Would you say that's true or false?
True.
Yeah.
I was not expecting you to ask me a true or false question.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was going to say it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
We talk about stewardship in our money. Mm-hmm. We talk about stewardship in our homes and resources. We talk about stewardship with almost anything, all the things except like our physical selves.
I do feel like that pendulum is, with guys like this, and there are definitely people who have engaged in that on a bigger level, but not in sort of the grand scheme of the church at large. You don't ever hear really pastors. And just the same where like when Jeremy started teaching about rhythms,
right?
I was like, I've never heard this talk in church.
Right.
I don't.
What is this about 7 days? Huh?
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard hey, your body is important. I've heard it in terms of like, don't do drugs, don't drink alcohol.
Or something like that.
Don't have sex before you're married, that type of.
Body's a temple type
which
thing.
I get. Those are all those things are true, but I've never heard it on the positive side of, your body was a gift to you. Yeah. Here's how you should take care of it.
Right.
It should push you to excellence.
Right.
Like it does with your finances or your marriage or raising your kids or all that kind of stuff. So, here are the practical reasons he gives, which I love. What does it look like? Why should we care about our health and fitness?
Right.
Obviously, there's this big spiritual overarching theme that God has designed us in a body for certain reasons and purposes.
Yeah.
He's given it to us. It's a gift. It's the only one we've got. All this kind of stuff. Practical reasons. It teaches us how to exercise stewardship even when stewardship is hard. Yeah. If you can't, it's the story of the talents. Mm-hmm. Some of us will have 10 talents. Some of us, it'll be easier.
We're not all given the same gifts and talents and amounts, and we're not all given the same amount of anything. You could insert anything there to steward.
But it doesn't mean just because it's harder for some that we give up on it.
Right.
And so I love that. It's a leadership. Kids learn through experience and observation. And so if you want to teach your kids how to take care of their physical bodies, and you're cramming your face with all sorts of junk food, they are learning to cram their face with all sorts of junk food. Yeah. It's the reason that part of our homeschool now is on Fridays, I take the girls with me to the gym because I really want them to see people work super hard. And I shared that at the gym and people were just like, what? And they were just like, man, I can't imagine how different my life would have been if I had a parent that did that.
That you'd witness that. Yeah.
Yeah. From an early age.
I think we did talk about this, but my only context for working hard physically was always around a specific sport.
Yeah.
And even then we did talk about this, how I was feeling like, okay, but high schools were terrible of like teaching you how to actually excel and like treat your body as a whole and not just like, you're a sprinter, so we're only going to do that and train for that,
So again, it's just, kids are always watching. Our kids are becoming who we are. And if we want them to become physically people who care about their health and fitness, then
healthy in every sense,
then they need to see us do that.
Yeah.
And this is, perspective of others, whether we like it or not as a business person. Again, he's talking to a group of business people, dads. People make judgments about whether we're healthy, whether we look healthy.
Even it's like a split
second decision,
subconscious type
and you
thing.
could say that like, clothes, food, like but that is a reality.
Yeah.
Again, talking to dads for this next one. Keeps healthy testosterone levels important for multi-generational teams and reproduction, energy, and vitality. Yeah. So not really for the ladies, but
right.
I'm so embarrassed.
Although, but I was like, are you really?
Sex.
That might be the only time we've ever said that word on this whole podcast.
I made a joke one time.
Did you?
In an episode where I was like, and today we're going to talk about our sex life. And your life was just like...
I knew that you were joking, but I was probably still shocked you just said it. No, wait, where were we? Okay. So, I mean, I assume it for a female, it's not doing anything with the testosterone
But it's your
specifically.
hormones.
I was just going to say, absolutely.
Yeah. And you can actually tell a story about that when we get to that.
here.
Yeah. It gives us the capability to be an active force and stable presence in the lives of others for decades to come. Much more multi-generational parenting comes later in life. And so if I'm raising June, Sunny, and Daisy to be good parents to my grandchildren,
Healthy. Yeah.
healthy,
I know what you mean by good, but yes.
I want to see that interaction for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
People who exercise daily see a work performance boost about 15%. That's
I believe that.
100%.
1,000% believe that.
If your heart stops or your body fails,
Your notes. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what your notes mean.
basically like
Oh, I see what
if
it's
you
saying.
build up, I wrote that very oddly. If you build up all this financial wealth or well-being or all this kind of stuff
Right.
and your body stops, doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, you're gone.
You're done.
And so obviously
Dunzo.
I don't want to be on that dunzo list. Obviously like you can't,
Right.
you
You
know,
don't mean like living forever.
freak
Chasing,
accent or
yeah.
anything like that. But like, if you do take care of yourself, you will live longer and you'll be able to be around and
Yeah.
enjoy the fruits of your labor more. And I don't
Absolutely.
even mean from like a financial standpoint of like, oh, we've retired and we got a great place. It's like the fruits that I want to enjoy. Very rarely do I think of anything financial when I think of that. I
Right.
think of knowing June, Sunny, and Daisy's kids
And
and
maybe
potentially
even their kids,
knowing their kids.
which blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about my grandpa who lived to be 95 because we had his 95th birthday. I do not recall in this moment if he made it to 96. But at his 90th, his big 90th party in my parents' backyard, wasn't there a person for every year of his life? Or am I thinking of my great grandma who lived to be 103?
I don't know.
His mother.
Yeah.
Either way, I cannot remember which party,
But
there was a person there in their families. I can't remember who it was, which party, but I'm like that. I think it was his that like by the time you had, cause he had 10 children and then they almost all got married and had kids. And then their kids had kids. Cause like I had a kid by the time we were at his party and I'm the youngest grandchild on that side. And I'm like, that's insane. He had 90 something plus people in his direct,
and he took good care of
in his
himself.
downline.
Yeah. His downline.
That's definitely not how you say that, but it was a lot of people in his downline.
He's at the top.
Right. He's just making this triangle. He's got it.
Don't worry about Jeff. He drives a Corvette.
Anyway, that's so cool to think that like, again, when the Lord's ready to take us, it happens.
There's nothing we
and
can
I'm
do.
not talking about that, but if we do take care of our bodies physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that is I think such a cool, almost like reward, if I could call it that, like to live long enough to see something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it look like? Here's what Chris says it looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this all specific to dads, or can we or is it kind of flip-floppy
I
depending?
think you could take this as a woman as well.
Okay. I'll try. Maybe I'll chime in if I.
Step 1, check your testicles for lump. No.
Okay. So what does that look like for me? Are you guys supposed to do that? Is that a thing that's recommended? Like for women, like when you're in the shower, check yourself for like
I don't know.
breast cancer.
I've been to a doctor in
That's true. Me neither.
20 years.
I've been to a doctor, but it's only for specific things. Having a baby, voice surgery.
Okay. So recommended approach. Like
DMD.
Doctor, medical doctor.
I'm going to a medical doctor next week.
Nice.
I responded confirmed to a text today.
Recommended approach, spiritual and mental. Part of that is playing defense. He talks about Sabbath is an active resistance against the noise of life. So that's just a great way to like play spiritual defense in life. If you take one day of rest, obviously we don't need to go into that because we go into it all the time. Number 2, parent your phone. Airplane mode at 5 p.m. Check once before bed and then off and not on again until after devotional time in the morning.
Nice.
That sounds so hard. I definitely do not do that, but I should.
That sounds amazing.
I
could totally do that.
We need to buy alarm clocks then.
Oh, because it can't be your alarm clock.
Yeah. I guess we put it in airplane mode. It still could.
Yeah, I think
But
it
I
would
guess
still go off.
But you know, people will say like if your phone's by your bed and
all the things.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we have an alarm clock.
Yeah.
I just found one in the bottom of our bathroom drawer and was like, why is this here?
Once a week, turn your phone off on Sabbath.
Right. What's the concept that we are aiming to maybe follow?
1 week, 1 day a week, one weekend a month.
Yeah. 1 day a week, 1 weekend a month, 1 week a year.
Yeah.
That's like a great place to start.
Yeah. That's a really good goal to set. Which again, I think those are all just great. Those are really practical ways of just providing spiritual and mental clarity, because this phone can be such a huge distraction and just such like a heavy weight on our spiritual and mental life.
Yeah.
And so again, I think the time, if the 5 p.m., whatever, like you're going to find different rules work for you. So like my rule right now is if I'm going downstairs after work, I try to forget my phone upstairs. Yeah. So I can just be engaged as part of the family. Mm-hmm. Offense. So this is the offensive side of the spiritual and mental recommendations of approach. Pray every day and read scripture every day, or listen to scripture every day. I'm a big audio book. Yeah. And I was like, I put this together this year. I was like, I love listening to audiobooks. Why don't I just listen to the Bible? Mm-hmm. I for some reason I felt this really weird, like
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Right.
Which I thought was a really weird thing. I'm like, well,
which is the opposite. Remember, it was a Coin Talk, or what was it in? It was a long time, not too long ago, but a while ago, where I had the opposite feeling that like if I can't verbally say something to someone, it doesn't count. Like if I'm writing them a note about how much they mean to me in writing, that's not the same. I have to be able to say it, and then which is like the opposite.
And I'm like, I've listened to, probably 50 to 100 audiobooks. Yeah. Fiction, like for fun.
Some of which have changed your life.
And I'm like, does that not count?
Right.
So I've been listening to the Bible this year and I really love it. I do it while I make my breakfast in the morning. Sometimes I'll listen and read at the same time, which is like, I get bonus points for that. Probably more jewels in my crown. So when you see really shiny, bright crown in heaven. Right.
Whoa, there's
Is that TJ down the street? Wow.
Glowing.
No big deal. This is my favorite line of jokes because it's so dumb. Okay. Rhythm and schedule.
So we were doing spiritual and mental, defense and offense.
Yep.
Okay, now we're moving on to rhythm and schedule.
Calendar and budget. If you look at your calendar or budget, you will see quickly what you value.
So you're supposed to audit these things.
Yeah, so audit your calendar. And so the way that Brooke and I do this is every Monday we have a meeting where we go over all of our finances. It's like a real quick shot, like quick snapshot.
Yes.
I use the Copilot budgeting app, which I'll link into the show notes, which I love. And then we go through the business finances, and then we go through our top economic priorities for our businesses. And then we look at our schedule, and like it's maybe a 15-minute meeting. Yeah. But every Monday. And occasionally we miss last Monday because you had home joy prep to do. Yeah. No biggie. Like we'll just jump right into it.
But like I was preaching over and over in home joy, the practice of something like that, like there is no magic in our weekly meeting. The magic happens because we do it consistently. That's where the magic is. It's 100%. Not like some amazing template that suddenly changes
And we
everything.
have a template, but it's been in like a kind of evolving template. We started with something that someone else used and it just didn't work for us.
Right.
I felt like
we kept maybe 2 parts of that, but it got us started.
I guess Chris referenced an old Jeff talk where Jeff Bethke. Okay. You familiar?
I am. I just thought isn't there another Jeff in the group?
Probably.
Yeah. That's why I was like, Jeff.
Jeff, I guess, did this talk where he said, write all your commitments on sticky notes. So,
yes, the sticky note thing. They do that with people up at the house if you want them to walk you through it.
Okay. Like
which I've thought about doing just to hang out with
baseball practice, art class, anything, church, beach time, going to the bathroom, showers.
That's a big commitment.
And then put them all on the table and what you do, and then pick up what you feel like it matters most. And then what gets left, like, is that stuff that should be cut. Like, again, we're auditing our schedule, we're auditing our budget, trying to find out where we put our value, which again is just a very practical thing. Yeah. And then, what we talk about and what we will talk about in our course called Rhythms Made Simple is what does your ideal week look like? I won't get into that any more than that. And then he goes down and he talks about like your morning routine and just about how important your morning routine is.
Yes. We are going to touch on that in Rhythms Made Simple.
Yes.
I have a whole section written about it that didn't get to fit into Home Joy. And I think I didn't shove it in because I realized it actually fits way better.
Do you want to talk about your new morning routine?
Sure.
Are you feel like you're ready?
I can talk about it.
Okay. I'm so proud of you.
So for the last 6 weeks, probably, give or take.
Yeah.
This last week was kind of a poop shoot because the kids being sick.
Poop shoot?
Well, I was going to say crap shoot, and I didn't know if I was allowed to say that. So I changed it to poop shoot, which is
that's the
harder to say and feels more like I might accidentally change the word at the end to be a really bad word. So for the last 6 weeks,
might want to run this podcast through VidAngel before you listen.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know if VidAngel's a thing anymore.
I don't know, but it's okay. It's like a software, right?
Yeah,
it would like not let you access certain things, or you would watch something through it.
It would be like you don't want the F word. Like you would click like I don't want the F word.
Oh, okay.
I don't want sexual scenes, and so it would just skip those.
Got it.
And so
it's like pre-marked for it to skip.
Yeah.
Anyway, for the last 6 weeks, I have been getting up.
I'm so excited you're telling people.
4:10 in the morning to be at the gym by 4:30 to work out with the one and only Bianca Bishop. So I had gotten a text from Bianca. When was that? Because would have been mid to early February, because I think your sister Sam was here and you were doing Integrated. There was some sort of travel happening, which is why so she sends me a text that says, I've been doing something crazy.
Are you in?
Like that. You want in? To which I responded, is it a direct sales company? No. Like, I didn't think that that's what she meant. Like, I was mostly joking.
Yeah.
But I was like, why are you saying it like this? Or she might have added like, it's changed my life or something like that. And so I was like, okay.
She was hyping it. It was a hype
text. And she's funny. So I was like, where is she going with this?
It's like, I found new Snapware.
Yeah, literally. I was like, I don't know where we're headed. And so I'm a little nervous to jump on this train. Anyway, she goes, it's going to sound crazy, but I've been going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning to do my workout. And then I come home and I shower and I make myself breakfast and I have my quiet time and I journal all before my kids are awake.
Yeah.
You should join me. Or probably not should. She probably didn't say that. Will you join me? Or do you want to join me or something? And I was like, oh my word. That is so early.
Let me back up one step.
Okay.
I have tried with all of my might. We're coming up on 14 years of marriage at the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
For 14 years of marriage to get Brooke to like commit to a consistent gym visit with me.
No. Since having kids. You have tried that because we used to go
that's true.
Pre-kids. Yeah. When there was nothing else to do except work, we used to work out together.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so it's really the last 8 years.
And so I failed.
No, you haven't failed. It was...
I've been declined.
Yeah.
Return to sender.
Yeah. I'm just like...
You've unsubscribed.
I've unsubscribed. Because you seeing you failed, it wasn't ever... it wasn't really on you.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so I told her, that sounds crazy, but also I get why you're doing it. And it's like one of those things. They just, when you hear it or you read it or whatever, and there's like this little spark of like, that might work for me. Mm-hmm. That sounds insane, but that might work. Yep. If you want something different, you have to do something different. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where I was like, that's insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember she texted you, we were about to go to bed.
First of all, I was so stressed out.
Yeah.
Which she then admits. She's like, I was doing it on purpose. And Ian was like, do it. Freak her out. She'll be fine. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Do you need a blood sample? What's going on?
But I could tell you were going to say yes based on how much you swirled around it. Yeah. Because you were essentially already knew you had to say yes.
I knew I was going to say yes. I just needed to talk yourself
into it. And I saw it happen and you kept being like, what should I do? I'd be like, I think you're already going to do it, but I'm just waiting for you to get there. I think I actually said that to you.
Probably. So my first response was, I'm interested.
Yeah.
But we have family here right now. And then TJ's leaving, which means I'd miss like a whole week of coming with you because I can't leave the house because I'm here. Let's check in after that. or something like that. And so that happened. The rest of February happened. And somewhere in that time, I might have shared this one piece, but not connected to this story. I am subscribed to Emily P. Freeman's email list, which I barely read anymore.
Right.
I have this like sane box that sorts my email for me. And her newsletter, unfortunately, gets sent to like a read it later.
Yep.
It's not like a trash one. It's just like literally called
when
read
you
later.
Yeah, when you want to
like
go
when I
through
get to it or when I want to, I scroll through that section. And so I don't know.
Sane box is great.
Sane box is great.
But
it really
make
is
sure you
great.
put all the walk and love emails in your inbox. So they always get
drag
through.
them over there.
Yeah.
So it learns that you like us. So I happened to read one and she was talking about, it's like, it was so obscure. It was, this is the Holy Spirit kind of a thing. And she, she usually talks about a handful of things. So it's like bullet points. And so one of the headers was something, I'm going to butcher her beautiful words now, which was something like, I'm afraid to try something new if I don't think it'll be forever. Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can go back and find it if I need to. And I was like,
I know want, if not last,
I was like,
all time.
ooh, that is me. That is how I view. That is how a lot of people, but like, I don't want a solution, or let me start over. I think I don't want a solution that's only going to last me a little bit of time or only going to be in the season I'm in. I want a solution for all of time so I never have to think about it again, which is not realistic. Like at all.
And it's not the way you live.
It's not how I live. It's not how I preach about how I live. Like, it's so not true. But it was this like naming of this unspoken thing, this unspoken belief that like
two specific sections of your life.
Wow. I did not know I thought that specifically about fitness. And because fitness was on my mind because of Bianca's invite, it was like that. When I read that, I was like, that's why I'm always afraid to jump into something. Cause I think, well, that's not going to last.
Right.
And that's how I was trying to talk myself out of working out with her, thinking I can't do that for all of time. Anyway, I have been going
3 to 4 days a week.
I'm fine. I'm not as tired as I thought.
We do go to bed around 8:30 every night.
Right.
Which is definitely a life, just a little different than what we were doing.
But I have said many times before, I actually would like to go to bed earlier because I do need more sleep. And so I have stepped into this season fully knowing that it's not going to be my fitness solution forever.
Right.
That just seems unlikely. It could be 6
months. Might be 2 years. Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I let go of the like, this is what's going to work for me for all of time, unrealistic idea. And it's allowed me to show up in my season where I'm at in the dark.
And then, which is great. and I'm so proud of you for doing it. I think it's had a ripple effect. Now I get up earlier and I'm in the Word earlier and my breakfast is done before the kids get up, and there's been a lot of benefits because of it.
Yeah.
And one thing Chris said in his talk was like, you need the right plan for under the section movement and food.
Oh, it's literally the next section.
You need the right plan based on the season of life in the calendar, based on your needs. And so some of you might hear the 4 a.m. and just think that's absolutely insane. I will never do that.
It was insane for me 2 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
That's fine.
A year ago.
But there should be a plan of movement and a plan for food. Just like we talk about having a plan for our phones. If we don't, we will default to whatever's easiest or the path of least resistance, which usually isn't the best for us. Right. And so if you find yourself sort of feeling that like conviction of, I need something, we're not giving this talk at the beginning of the year about New Year's resolutions. We're giving it in April, first week in April.
Yeah.
And so what a great time to not attach it to any sort of like lofty, it's got to be for a whole year goal.
Yeah.
But just find a plan that works for you.
Yeah.
That makes it hard. Like, not find a plan that makes it easy. Because I don't think that, like, again, we're, what was the line? It teaches us to exercise stewardship even when stewardship is hard. And so, you can start light or start with something like, I'm just going to not drink soda.
I'd say starting anywhere is better than starting nowhere.
Yeah. But finding a plan for the season that you're in is so good. I started CrossFit over a year ago and that's worked for me. And that's been super great. Now with Yulia telling me, hey, your body is tight, I realize that there's an element missing. Yeah. And that element is mobility and flexibility. And if I want to be, my heart is getting in great shape. My lungs are probably in the best shape I've been in a long, long time. But I've noticed that my body has been quite sore. Yeah. And I actually felt like my back got hurt. And so there's an element that's missing. So the plan that I was doing isn't fully the right plan.
Right.
And so I downloaded this app called Pliability. It's this stretching app, and I've just committed to doing it every day.
Yeah.
And
which is not, it's not a lot of time either.
no, it's like 20 minutes of stretching, and I have that in my day. And so, you know, it doesn't, again, like Brooke said, it doesn't need to be this set it and forget it mentality.
Yeah.
But it should be something. You should at least set something.
Yeah.
And I talked about this a few weeks ago, where we should always have a fitness goal.
Yeah.
You know, we should always have something that we're working towards, or else we won't work towards anything.
Right.
Okay. So that was what he said about movement and food. And then he talks about micro habits, which I think James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits.
Yes.
I think there's actually another book about micro habits somewhere.
Probably.
But just talking about,
maybe it's in Getting Things Done, or
like the biggest
The
example.
Power of Habit. There's like
there's
a lot
so
of
many
books.
of them. But the biggest example that's always used is if you want to start flossing, just floss one tooth a night. And you get your little picker and you floss it, and you're like, well, I'm here.
Well, I'm already here.
So I might as well floss. One of my favorite stories I heard, I think it was a reel, guy talked about how he was trying to get in the habit of going to the gym. And so he told himself that he only had to be there for 10 minutes.
I think it was less than that.
Yeah, it might have been less than that.
Yeah,
Maybe 5 minutes. So he would get dressed, get his workout clothes on, go to the gym, start his timer, 5 minutes. It's enough to do maybe one set or walk on the treadmill or whatever. And then he'd leave.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't trying to get in the habit of working out for an hour.
No.
He was trying to get in the habit of getting
Physically
himself
going
to the gym.
Yeah.
And so that's what he worked on, and he practiced over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so finding those micro habits, one of the ones that he suggested us guys was doing 25 push-ups a day. You know, it can be 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 21 at night, or, you know, whatever, 5, 5, and 5, you know, whatever. And then for the food stuff, and we try to live by this rule. I think Sabbath really allows you to live by this rule that 80% of what you intake should be like whole, real food.
Yeah.
And 20% can be sort of whatever. And when you do the math on meals per week and snacks, if you take a 24-hour Sabbath and you just go hard at whatever you want, basically comes out to 80-20, which is kind of amazing.
Right.
And eat slowly. Again, these are just real practical things. Reduce and avoid seed oils, which is like a big thing that people are really becoming aware of now.
Yeah.
So if you drink a lot of oat milk or almond milk or any milk bought at the store like that, it's full of seed oils. And so just something to be aware of. That's why we use the almond cow, because I can't do lactose. And then he talks about sleep and recovery. And Huberman, who's like a neuroscience from Stanford, this is his big thing. In the first few hours of day, you need to get as much sunlight on your eyes and your skin and your face. Right. Because that sets your circadian rhythm. And so if you're not sleeping well at night, it might be because you're not getting enough sun early in the morning. So your body doesn't know. So if you go to a dark office and you work in like a room without windows or whatever, you are not realizing, your body's not realizing that it got up at a certain time. And so you end up having fitful sleep, which is just so fascinating. And so much to the point where he really, unless it's a safety thing, he really encourages people not to wear sunglasses very often because that really affects how much your brain is perceiving how much sunlight you're getting, which is just wild. Yeah. And some other tips that he gives is cut food intake 3 hours before bedtime. That's hard when you go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah.
Reduce your room temperature so you sleep better at night, and then take high quality magnesium before bed. Apparently every human on the planet isn't getting enough magnesium. And so I'll link the magnesium I take in the show notes if you're looking for some. Transformation is not therefore passive. Grace is opposed to earning, not to effort. In fact, nothing inspires and enhances effort like this experience of grace. That's a Dallas Willard quote. And then the other quote he ended with was, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, which is James Clear. And so wherever you are, health and fitness wise, whether you're, an Adonis that's like in tip top shape, or you feel like, oh, I'm just an old fat mom now. Like,
you better believe I've thought that about myself many times in life.
I don't believe that God wants you to feel that way. I don't believe that God gave you a physical body to feel that way. Right. And so will it take time and energy and effort and all those things? And will you feel a month in like this stinks and I'm seeing no results? Absolutely. Yeah. but it is worth it because it is such a gift
It is.
to have a physical body
Yeah.
and to be able to move and to be able to breathe deeply
Yeah.
and run and use your muscles. I mean, what happens in our bodies is an absolute incredible miracle.
Yeah.
And so we should utilize that miracle every chance we get. And so I would just encourage you wherever you are to find a plan that works for you, to start to care about your health and fitness. And if you are a person who really does care about your health and fitness right now, and you have hit a wall or you're frustrated or you're just like, is this really worth it? Absolutely. Let this be a reminder to you today that it is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
And maybe the path needs to change a little bit. Maybe the plan needs to alter. Maybe something needs to shift a little bit. Whatever it is, hopefully today encourage you wherever you are on that path.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. Thanks for listening. Go buy your tickets to our marriage event.
Okay. I love you. Bye.